How's it going, friends and family of the internet? It's Josh Labah here doing a first ever update. So, we actually recorded this podcast a little bit early, and you'll be able to track that down, I'm sure, if you listen closely. But the reason why I'm doing this intro is because some things have changed since then. For instance, we talk about Lake Mille Lacs and the regs on there and what they did. Um, I cite a November article, but as of a few days ago, uh, the regulations have changed again for August 1st. So actually here just this past Saturday. Um, Make sure to check those out. Follow us on Twitter at RealAF_TV because I retweet the stuff that the DNR so you can keep up with it. I don't want to get too far into it here. I say something about COVID and nobody's fishing. Holy crap, was I wrong? And we'll visit that in a later podcast. But fishing and COVID go hand in hand, apparently. Getting into the video game stuff, there is a Resident Evil 8 already announced. We talk about, like, just do Resident Evil 8. And yeah, they're officially announced that. And that's about it. I just wanted to do this quick update, and then now let's get to the show. Welcome to the Real AF Podcast, the show where we talk to you about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh Labah. On the other side, we got
Tim Wagner. I don't know why I said it like
Tim.
that. It doesn't have an
It was
O in
hold
it.
on. Okay, let's do a second take. And on the other side, we have
Tim Wagner coming at you live from the studio of my spare bedroom.
that's where all good podcasts start. The spare bedroom.
Yeah,
It's a
pretty
fact.
much.
Look it up. Somebody Google it quick.
Google it.
Yup. Did you look at the moon tonight? I don't know if that would. Well,
Yeah, dude. We were checking it out.
jeez.
Beckett's super into the moon right now. When he sees it, he's just,
Oh yeah.
man. Oh, yeah. And you have to acknowledge him. And he has to let everybody know, Daddy, 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 Daddy. What? But what? Moon. Yeah, dude, moon. Sweet. Mommy, mommy, mommy. If there were like 10
Both
people
of
here,
you, just these very energetic to both of you.
yes, you need to look. He's so pumped on everything.
Yes.
A motorcycle drives by. We see the moon, a bird flying over, any animal at all. Just squirrels or mice. Mouse, mouse. No, that's a squirrel. And then he's just like, no, mouse. And you're just like, whatever, dude. Yeah,
It's
mouse.
cool. Cool if that's what you want to think.
Yeah, you're wrong, but whatever, bud.
Do Did you ever get a chance to go to the zoo since he's been in this pumped mode? Obviously, we can't now, but
No, not since he's been like excited about everything and telling us what they were, you know?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like we went to the we've been to the zoo and the underwater world at the Mall of America
Oh yeah.
or whatever that's called now. It used to
Yeah.
be Underwater
Hey,
World. Now it's like Sea Life or something. They changed the name.
yeah.
But yeah, he's super into looking at the fish and stuff. But when we went,
Nice.
he was small enough that he would just like stand there and point at them. There weren't a lot of
Mm.
words then, you know. He'd make
Mm-hmm.
noises and stuff. But
Right. Yeah.
now, I mean, he'd probably be like amped and yelling about it. Shark! And just like, fuck yeah, dude, sharks.
Top of his lungs.
Oh,
Shark.
dude, he yells so loud all the time. Just I think he's got a chance at being a rock star because he's just, Daddy! You're just like, yeah, what's up, bud?
Yes. I love it. Okay. Speaking of fish and aquariums and stuff, look at that segue, huh? Whoa.
Yeah, boom.
You were talking about rock stars, and I just it's a really good segue. Speaking of things inside Minnesota, how about them walleye?
Yeah, they are Amazing to eat.
Yes. And actually, that's definitely going to be part of what we're talking about. But the reason why I wanted to bring up the walleye well is because I feel like though we're not trying to be specific to Minnesota, and I think we've said that several times, we have to address the Minnesota state fish
Oh shit, yeah.
and give it some due time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that it's in no, two other states only? I looked them up. South
Really?
Dakota. Yeah, South Dakota and Vermont, but Vermont actually has two fish. Vermont has a cold
No,
water
that's
fish
not that's not
and
real though. Like, are you saying that those are like the state fish?
yeah. Am I wrong? That's what I looked. Well, I
Oh,
looked on Wikipedia, so
I thought you were saying like you can only find them in those two states.
no,
Oh,
no. I
okay.
looked them up as
No.
state fish because as a Minnesotan, we take huge pride in our state fish. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's just our fishing like environment that we are in, the
yeah,
10,000 lakes thing, the fact
right.
that like everybody fucking fishes here. Is
Yeah.
that the reason why the walleye is so big here? Other than the fact it's super delicious.
Well, we have a ton of lakes, so I think the numbers here are more so like, it's not like you're going to the Dakotas where you have like the I think a lot of those are man-made even, like Devil's Lake
Mm,
and stuff. Like I might be wrong on that, but I thought a lot of those lakes are man-made. So you're just kind of dealing with a handful of lakes where
mm,
that's probably their favorite fish, but you're like everybody has to fish the same lake. Here, they're like you could go and catch a limit on a lake where people are like that lake sucks, and it's like it doesn't suck. It's just we have some really good lakes, so in comparison, probably, but you can like, I mean, you're literally in
yeah.
this state, you are never like more than 5 or 10 minutes away from a lake.
Oh yeah. I mean that's true. And in the walleye, I don't know if this is true across the state. You might know more about that, but um, you remember that pond downtown, basically the town in Chaska here,
Yep,
dude. We watched a lady pull easily over 13-inch walleye out of the ice one year.
in that pond.
Yeah,
Sweet.
dude.
I
Like
didn't
we
know
were
that.
turning around, they were counting down the end of the fishing tournament, and all of a sudden, like you could tell they got a big bite, and like her group is like five people. They start going crazy. We turn around less than oh, I'll just say like 30 yards. We look over, and this giant walleye comes pulling out of their hole, and like we just watched them pull it out and start running to the way station. And
Damn.
yeah, we just
So
looked at each other. It was three of us. We just looked at each other like, did that just really happen? What just happened? And we all, because she took off running. Did we really see a walleye? What the heck? And then they finally announced it all at the like end of it. That was the winning fish at the buzzer,
damn.
like the 3 point shot for the
So
win. Boosh.
was it was it bigger than the one that I caught? Because I thought you said 13 inches. That's not a big fish. But like the one when me and you went to the river, and
Mm-hmm.
I ended up, was it bigger than that fish?
Uh, I think so.
Yeah, because
Ah,
then
it's hard to
you
see from the distance. I just thought
well
that's what they said at the
that
at
one
the
that one you would have been
checkout.
talking about like 20 inches because a 13
Oh,
inch a 13-inch walleye isn't a very big fish.
okay. Well, coming out of that fishing hole, you're it's surprising. Coming out of
Yeah,
that
I'm just
pond.
saying. I'm just saying. Like, if that was the tournament winner, I'd be surprised. No, it's still. I had no idea that there was walleyes coming out of it. I'm just.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
the thing
making.
is you just like you figure the biggest crappie is going to win there because I know it's got to be pretty well stocked with crappies because that's what everybody pulls out. There's tons of sunfish. They thrive in there. So,
Yeah, they seem to stock a lot of those smaller ponds with crappies. If you get a chance coming up here, um, Lake George, when the crappies start spawning at Lake George, it is a
hmm
sight to see because it's not super clear water, but they spawn so shallow. and because it's like the whole lake is a protected bay, they'll
Mm-hmm.
spawn in every shallow part along the the bay, and it
Mm-hmm.
is just crazy. Like there are just like I mean they,
Like you can
every
see it. Like I mean, you just look into this water and it's not super
yeah,
clear, and you can just see the fish.
it is a they're not real big, but it is a black crappie like every foot in every direction. So it's not
Oh
like
my God.
yeah, so it's like you got a fish every foot going, north and south, and then a fish every foot going east and west. And just like a grid of like, oh my God, there are so many
Jesus.
crappies here. But not a
That's
single one of
insane.
them, yeah, not a single one of them currently are big enough that I want to try to harvest any of them. It's like
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to get a bunch of little fish nuggets here. They're not worth my
Right.
time, but it's really cool to see. I just
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Knowing
just
that that species is there in that abundance, right? Like you can
yeah,
just this thing's full. Have you ever
yep.
seen anybody pull a walleye out of there? Would it be a surprise?
Mm, yeah, if somebody pulled a walleye out of there, I'd be surprised because I don't know if they stock any there. I've never seen a walleye, but I know that
See,
there's
that's what kind of I
yeah,
thought too.
I know that there's largemouth bass in there. I know that there's catfish in there. There are some monster koi in there. Like
Oh my God.
I'm talking
We should
like
actually I should I'm gonna
they're
put that down on another topic because yeah,
yeah, dude,
koi. I want to talk about koi, but we're
they're
not gonna go into it tonight.
they're like big carp. Like that's kind of what koi are, is like Asian carp, but they're legit like goldfish. They're giant orange fish. I mean, like if I don't know if anybody's
Yeah.
ever
Oh
caught
yeah.
one, but I would have to say that the one in that pond has got to be somewhere in the realm of like I don't know. I haven't seen it for a while, but maybe 8 to 10 pounds. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's pushing 10, it's huge.
yeah, and a koi. I mean, like kois that you normally see are maybe a big one is like, oh damn, that thing's got to be like almost 2 pounds.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if you saw that in somebody's garden, like if you saw a 10-pound koi in somebody's garden, you'd be like, how the hell's that thing even
Yeah,
alive?
you'd be like, what the fuck are you feeding that thing?
Exactly. So, uh, more on the walleye side.
Yes, yeah,
What's average weight on a walleye? Because I don't know, and I know that's kind of a weird question. But if regs
yeah.
say you can't have you can't keep a walleye more than one over 20 inches, does that sound right? That's what I found.
Um, yeah,
Like it one per angler. That's normal. Obviously, they have different restrictions in different areas, but does that
yeah,
sound
well,
accurate to you?
yeah. I mean, close to that. Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know. I always forget. Like fishing openers this coming weekend, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll go and read all the regulations and make sure I'm on point, and then I'll remember. But when the
Yep, I gotcha.
when the ice fishing, I'm still not a super avid ice fisherman. I don't have a house or anything, so I'm not out there, you know, ice fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of forget the regulations when winter comes around because I'm not keeping track of that kind of stuff. But
Right.
um, yeah, it's something like that. Like one over, like basically you can keep so many of them and you can have one that's a little bit bigger, but most of them have a slot limit, so you'll have
Like the
uh
lake, the body of water has a slot limit.
well, there's a decent amount of lakes that have a slot, yeah,
Right.
where
Yeah.
they'll slightly change it, but just for explanation purposes, you'll be like, you can keep, I know it's 5 fish. You can keep 5 walleye, and they'll say like, you can keep between, I don't know if there's a minimum size. You can keep between, however
Mm.
small you're willing to keep, and then like 18 inches is the
Mm-hmm.
biggest. And I think there are slot limits where they do have a minimum size, and there might be a minimum size. I don't know. I don't keep the little ones, so it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm not dealing with it, but I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
um,
Go ahead.
so you have, um, you know, we'll say like 12 to 18 inches. you can keep 5 fish, and then you can have one of them that's normally like a trophy fish or some. I think
Mm.
sometimes, uh, I think the majority of the lakes, I think you can have up to like 22 or 23-inch walleye or something like that. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
actually, that's okay. If you want to go, keep going.
I'm just I'm just guessing, man. I
Yeah,
should.
no, I know you're making up hypotheticals right now just to kind of explain how it works. And actually, I looked on Care 11, the local news spot down here. So I found an article from November 5th, and this is where the different around the state talking about Mille Lacs, because Mille Lacs is like the biggest walleye fishing lake in this, well, was the biggest walleye fishing lake in the state, pretty much. It got all
Yeah,
the attention basically for its commercial operations and the tribes that fish it and stuff like that. So it gets a lot of media attention. Um, but I saw this article from November 5th, and it says, as of December 1st, 2019, one walleye between 21 and 23 inches or one over 28. So that's how the slot,
yeah,
and that was only one fish. Like they were literally going down
yeah.
to one
Super,
fish on
yeah,
that lake.
super specific, strict regulations, and I don't really know how that stuff works out there. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it's you keep them and you're gonna really screw up the population, because I heard of people going out there and just absolutely murdering them, like catching like 100 fish a day and like
Mm-hmm.
boating like multiple 30-inch fish, and everybody's like, it is just ridiculous out here. But
Oh my
you can only,
God.
yeah, you can only catch one fish. But I just looked up the regulations. I was wrong. I don't know if this changed last year or um, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
six
It's okay.
fish,
Go.
you can have 6 walleye. I
Mm.
I thought it was 5, and it might be in my head of 5 fish because Shamana does have different regulations, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
lake I fish the majority of the time. So I don't really
Mm-hmm.
focus on the other lakes too much. Like
Right.
when it's like one of those things like where when you're at the landing, like if there's a specific regulations there, they'll tell you when you're at the landing, and if it doesn't say anything, then you just go based off of the regular stuff. So it's like if I go fishing on a different lake and I put 4 in the boat, I know I don't even have to worry about it because I know that your regulations aren't less than, they're I, I
Mm-hmm.
I can keep that many fish for sure. So a lot of times I don't even
Yeah,
really
because
look
there
into
was
it.
nothing at the landing saying differently, so hey, I already regularly fish a restricted area. Not a restricted area, that doesn't sound right, but
Right.
uh, one that has higher restrictions than the statewide
Yep.
guideline.
Yep. So it's
Yep.
like if I end up putting 5 in the boat or whatever, then it's like, okay, I should probably look into this before I throw this one in the live well. But I've not been to that point because I've never went fishing on another lake by myself because I currently don't
Mm-hmm.
have a working boat, so it's always been with multiple people, and it's
Mm-hmm.
never been like,
Mm-hmm.
well, we have 18 walleyes in the boat. What do we do? It's like we never been that good
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're always hitting up lakes that we don't know, and I'm relatively
Yep.
new to walleye. I like
Sure.
fishing them a lot, but bass are what I like to fish. But I don't. I mean, that's my favorite, but I don't keep the bass to eat them unless I really
Right.
want something to eat, and I know I can go put some bass in the boat. But for the most
Right.
part, I just catch them and release them, so I don't have to worry about limitations there. But yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
walleye, it says 6 combined, or walleye and sauger, um, which sauger is the
Yeah, I was
same
gonna
thing
ask
as
you.
same thing as a walleye, pretty much. Like they're technically different species, but um, the coloring's a little different. Walleye has a white, um, the lower tip on the back fin is
Mm-hmm.
white, and the sauger doesn't have that. Like real
Mm.
little things, but for the most part, they're the same fish.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but
Interesting.
yeah, I've never caught a sauger before.
Okay.
But 6 combined, and then not more than one walleye over 20 inch. So you can have 6 of
Yep.
them, all of them being under 20, and then if you wanted, you could have 5 of them and one being over 20. So,
Yep. Yep.
and
Okay.
the reason for that being, the bigger fish lay more eggs for, well,
Ah,
if they're females, but
right.
um, and the more eggs, the the more.
The hopefully the healthier the population.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and actually up in Mille Lacs, the May 9th to June 30th window, which I guess now with COVID, big deal.
Right.
Nobody's fishing anyway. It literally states all walleye must be released immediately.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's the
Like
same.
all of them. And I understand because you're saying they're, the smaller the fish, but once they get bigger, once they get over that 20, it's like, nope, put that fish back because that fish is going to repopulate this. Like that fish will keep the population up.
Yes.
And that's why
Yep.
you don't want to take six of those.
Yeah, that's why all the big trophy fish, they're like, put that thing back because it will. I mean, it's like crazy numbers too. When you I can't remember what they are, but it's somewhere in the realms of like tens of thousands of eggs more for every pound the fish gets more.
Oh, for every pound of fish. Oh,
Yeah,
so
it's
it's not
it's
just that it's a bigger fish and it will produce more than, say the 18-inch versus the 20. That's not how it goes. It's not like the 18-20 necessarily. It's more like, hey, if you catch yourself a 24, just put it back because the weight that that thing has on it in comparison to the 18 inch is going to be huge and it's going to be so much more exponentially the egg count.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because they don't. Well, I think uh, the it's just a rough estimate of like the
Mm-hmm.
weight, but the length coincides with that, and they know people can measure the length of the fish a lot
Mm-hmm.
easier than they can weigh it. Everybody doesn't have a
Yeah.
scale, but the majority of people have tape measures.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's. I don't know about walleyes, but I know that I was reading a bass book a while back, and it was something crazy where it was like a 1 pound bass or like a 2 pound bass can lay like 10,000 eggs, but like uh
Oh,
yeah, but it was like a five
that's still a
pound
lot.
bass. Yeah, and it's like a 5 pound bass can lay like 60,000.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's pretty much an exponential growth to it that it, yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
I remember you saying something about that one time. I think it was when we were bass fishing. But when you put it in perspective like that, when I sit here and actually listen, because we're not watching bobbers and stuff, it's like kind of blows the mind. It's crazy.
Yep.
But
Crazy stuff.
before we can't skip walleye topic without talking about eating them because that was pretty much how we started this. But I didn't want to jump right
Mm,
into it because
mm-hmm.
yeah, I actually am hungry right now. Yeah. So, anyways, deep fry. Got to not think about it. Got to not think
Yeah.
about it. So we smoke salmon, or we smoke salmon. That's actually really delicious too, and that's why it's the first win because smoked salmon is what
Oh,
everybody has.
Simon's so good.
We smoked walleye,
Mm-hmm.
right? Didn't we put a couple fillets in
Yes. Yep.
that
And
last
I
time?
drop one on the yeah, and I drop one on the
Oh yeah.
yard. That one sucked.
Shit, that's right.
Like smoking the walleye, and then all of a sudden I like pulled it out, and the tray like hung up or whatever, and then once I got it to move, it like moved out too fast, and I flopped it like meat side down. But it's whatever. It was the first time I ever
That fucking
smoked the
sucked.
walleye, so we're gonna have
It
to
turned
do it
out
again.
really, really good though. Yeah, I mean, I'd never even heard of it before, but all I've ever heard of also is just deep frying it. Like that's only thing I've ever been taught is just deep fry the walleye. Um, I mean, from people that I've caught walleye with, from people that I've gotten walleye from, who have been, they just will go. I'll go over to their house, or I'll come over to their house and we'll cook the walleye that they caught, and they're just gonna deep fry it, and that's pretty much all it always is. And how come it's always deep fried? I mean, do you know why it's always deep fried? Is that just because that's what people do to fish?
It's good.
It's just really good.
it's
Everything deep
it's
fried is
good.
fucking good, though.
it's easy to do too. Like you
Yeah,
can, it's a lot harder to screw up. Like you get the
that's a
oil
good
hot,
point because
and then
it's
yeah,
mhm
once the oil's hot, like your breading could not be excellent. You know, the batter or whatever you make, like if it's
mhm
not great, like it's still gonna be pretty good unless you keep it in for too long and you burn the shit out of it. Like if you if you don't prepare it right and you put it in the oven, you
But you
can
burn the
dry it
shit out of the
out and
bread.
just
The
be like,
fish
oh, this
inside's
isn't
still
great.
good. I think that's the thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. The fish inside
right.
and it's gonna
Yeah,
be
that's
so
what you just said.
juicy and stuff, you know, if you bake it in the oven, like if you don't do it quite right, you could dry it out and it's not
Mhm.
good. Like it's gonna be juicy and it's just fried
Mhm.
fish is so dope and
It's
it
just
doesn't
so
need to be
fucking good.
walleye. Walleye's so good, but it
No.
doesn't need to be walleye. You can people give bass a bad rap and I think that's just because people don't know how to do it right. You know, like
Mhm.
it's a
Like clean
it's
it right
a
or
well, it's like think of like a chicken breast. Like
mhm. Yeah.
you have the pointier side gets kind of slim and small and the other side gets
Mhm.
kind of big. And when you
Mhm.
try to cook that, like it can be like dried out
Oh
in
yeah.
parts because you have to cook it so much to get the middle cooked through. And I think people are doing that with bass. Like if you cut the fillet into smaller pieces and make them
Mm.
like more even before you bread them, I
Yeah.
I would I could bread up some bass and put it right next to some crappie in a plate. If I cut them small
Yep.
enough, you probably won't even be able to tell if I'm deep frying them.
Right.
And if
No,
you can
yeah,
tell,
I
like
agree.
it's not that big of a difference, but people give it a bad rap. But
Yeah.
I think they taste just as
Oh
good.
yeah. Yeah, I've
It's
had
but
bass with you for sure, and
yeah,
it's really good. I mean, it tastes almost like all the other fish when they're on the plate, and yeah, it's usually a variety when we're cooking, which is
yeah,
good. But that's I don't know. I guess I just thought of again back to what we were saying is the walleye has this thing in Minnesota. It's almost like majestic, but
dude,
you
it's
also fish the
so
hell out of
good.
it.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, then how come you always just deep fry it? That was kind of my thing. It's not like we treat it bad. I mean,
yeah,
that one time we smoked it, and I was actually like, "Are we treating this fish properly? Are we supposed to be smoking walleye?"
it's yeah, no, it's really good. It's just harder to cook like properly the other ways. Like I've made
Hmm. I think
Parmesan
you're right.
crusted, yeah, I've made Parmesan crusted walleye, and I've done other forms of cooking walleye, and it's
Hmm.
so good. Like if you go to a restaurant and order a Parmesan crusted walleye, oh my God, it's so good. But it is not easy to cook a walleye like that because
Hmm.
it's easy to screw it up. Like
Okay.
if you took walleye and you threw it in your freezer with a bunch of water and stuff, and then you take it out
Yep.
and try to cook it, like you gotta use some paper towels and stuff and try to get the majority of that water out of there before you cook it, because otherwise it's gonna fuck up your breading. Your breading is gonna get all soggy and that won't get crispy and
Mm.
you know. But
Hmm.
if you cooked it when the fish is relatively fresh and you know you just put it straight in the fridge, that can help do that stuff. But um, it's a little bit trickier to cook the other ways.
Hmm.
Like frying it is whether you're breading it or battering it, you just you know toss that around in your stuff and throw it in that hot oil, and then you just take it out once it changes colors. It's real simple.
It's very true. Unless you're a complete dumbass and turn that thing up to like 550 or whatever max deep fryers go to, you're
Yeah,
fine.
or
And
don't
that's
understand.
completely true.
Yeah, or don't understand that water and oil don't get along. Like
Oh
if
God, yes.
you got like super wet fish and you're like this ought to work and it's just like that
And it fuck
was a
yes,
terrible
exactly the noise it
impression, but
makes.
no,
No, it
no.
wasn't because it makes such a it seriously
It's like a weird
cracks like that though.
yeah,
That's the thing
it's
is
like a weird
it doesn't
pop.
stay that sound, but it pops like you just said.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a
It just
weird
has this crackle to it when it first goes in. It's so fucking scary.
yes, it's a very scary sound, very intimidating when that crackles like, blah, 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 blah. I don't even know how to explain it. it's like it's like in a
It,
weird in
you
a weird world of like gun bullets are instead of gunpowder, they're filled with like water, and somehow that ignites it, and you pop it, and it's like bloop bloop bloop.
yes,
It's a weird
it's like
water
an
pop.
explosion. Like
Yeah,
there's something primal about that sound that just you as a human, you just go, something's fucked up, get
yeah.
away.
You're just like God. You get yeah. Back up. Something's about to go down.
Something's about to go down.
Yeah, and it's a very
Oh,
ominous sound. It's so deep. Plop 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 plop. It's real
it's so
scary
creepy, and
shit.
the time it takes to go away, and the time it takes to kind of, or as it starts to even calm down, you can still hear those bigger bubbles. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I don't like it at all.
Once it
If
goes away,
you've
though, you're
never
just like,
heard it
all right.
before, don't go experiment with it. That's the one thing is
Yeah,
don't don't listen to this and be like, oh, I wonder what oil and water sounds like. Sounds like fucking third degree burns. That's what.
yeah.
First degree burns. Shit.
Or you have like the outside fryer, and you put the water in, and then it bubbles up over, and the oil's flammable, and then it hits that flame because
And
they
burns
have
your whole
it like over
fucking house down.
propane, and then just woof. Yeah, that's where all those people get in trouble when they try to deep fry the
With the
turkeys,
turkeys in
because
Thanksgiving.
there's
Yep.
the moisture in it, and they try to put it down too fast, and then it bubbles up over and hits the fire, and just boom, and then
Yep.
everybody dies. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody's dead. And on that note, we'll take a break and we'll come back. We're the second random take, or the random take of the podcast today is going to be what's old is new again. I know we're trying to work on the hour, but we're going to get into this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to
Well,
I don't want to be doing this thing too late, but if it happens, it happens.
if it rolls off the tongue, keep it going.
That's right.
All right, all right. We'll be back in a minute.
All right. Break time. Break. Break time. Break. Break time. I love your voltage.
And we're back from break, and Mountain Dew was our sponsor. No, we
If you want to start that over, because I was kind of
just
talking.
just give us Mountain Dew, the sponsor. Let's go.
All
No,
right.
I want to keep it. I want to keep it totally.
Okay, let's keep it. Yeah, blue Mountain Dew. Come
Oh,
on, Mountain Dew.
is that your shit? The blue Mountain Dew?
The voltage stuff, not that frost stuff. I don't like it when anybody puts that frost on anything. They're just like,
Frosty things, hate them.
yeah, not a big fan of frosty stuff where they're just like, Gatorade Frost or whatever Frost, and I'm just like, no, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to have like a minty, like, oh, it's cool. No, just give me some. The voltage is just, yeah, I'm a fan of that. It's got some ginseng in it, makes it
Oh,
feel
does it?
nice. Yeah,
Makes you feel a little amped up, a little
yep,
cool.
gives you a little bit of extra. It is charged with raspberry citrus flavor and ginseng, is what it says.
Oh shit,
Yep, and
giving you the goods.
I'm just into that. But the yeah, any frosty shit, no thanks. Hey, speaking, okay, since we're talking about this Gatorade, in case I haven't ever told you this before, people listening at home, you might like this too. This is not mine, but I heard it and I thought it was great. There was somebody posted someplace online that was like, uh, people who know the names of Gatorade are cops, and
What?
they're like anybody who knows the actual name of the Gatorade, that's a cop. And he's like, it's blue and it's red, and that's the Gatorade. And the one guy goes, responds to him, and he goes, no, you got to know the names because there's different blues. He's like, so you got like frost and you got berry blue, and then the guy responds back, light blue and dark blue. Nice try, cop.
Yes. Oh my God, what a beautiful exchange. Because it's true. Ain't nobody knows those fucking flavors, dude. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Everybody
It's
knows lemon lime is yellow. Every single time I get a Gatorade, I go, "You want me to get the yellow one or the purple one?"
yeah. When I go in and I'm
What?
looking for something, I'm
Nice
just
try,
like,
cop.
yeah, I want the like more clear green. I don't know the names of them. Just
Fuck
like
no.
there's one green I like that's more clear than the other ones. I'm like, yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
that was our that was our drink take for the day.
Yep. Getting you educated.
Drink take. How about remakes? Man, I'm getting
Hmm.
good at those segues.
Dang.
Put that one on the fucking chalkboard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But seriously, the random take is not going to be pop. It's going to be what's old is new again. Why is everything a remake to now? Like every fucking
Everything.
thing is a remake, dude.
Because nobody's clever anymore. Nobody has original thoughts, and I don't know, there's too many people out there nitpicking everything apart. Even the remakes they nitpick apart, but
Even the remake, sometimes it's
it's
fucking worse. But
it's easier to get people amped on something that they already liked because they're just like, oh, this thing again, you know? This is
yeah,
just gonna be another one of these movies, and then they're just like, you know what, fuck you. How about we just make another one of those movies instead of being like that? I'm just gonna remake that.
right. Seriously, is that happen? So I specifically have down here in the movie section horror movies. Are they doing that? Because you're kind
Hmm.
of a horror movie, scary
Yes,
movie guy. Like, what is the difference there too? Like, are
dude.
you in the slashers or like I don't even fucking get that totally. If you can skim
I
over that quick.
So I like all of them. Slasher flicks are kind of a dying breed a little bit, just because there's not as many people into watching those shitty movies. I feel like they're bad. Like that's part of the draw. They're the movies that are so good they're bad. Like, but they're still
hmm
entertaining.
Yeah,
But like all the Freddy Krueger ones, the Nightmare
yeah.
on Elm
Nightmare.
Streets.
No. Yep.
Yeah, those are pretty bad movies. They're not particularly good. There's one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever is at the end of one of them where like every it's one of those where spoiler alert if you haven't seen this movie from like 1989, the end of the movie everybody thinks everything's hunky dory again, and the mom is like waving to the kids like bye kids, and all the kids are inside this convertible, and it's a red convertible, and the top starts going up, and it's like the roof is Freddy's signature like sweater stripes, and that's when
The
they
brown
realize like,
and the red, that
yep,
like brownish red and the red.
yep, and they're like, oh
hmm
shit, and then they can't get out of it, and the mom's waving, and Freddy's hand like breaks through this it's got to be like a foot and a half square window. Like there's not much room. And his
hmm
arm comes out and grabs her and pulls her through the window. And it is so comically bad. Like it is so clearly like a blow up doll.
A
How it
human
gets
body just fits through this fucking tiny little window.
and it goes like, and it's just like erect. Like he kind of grabs her like around, like just under her neck, like on her chest, and pulls, and her feet like stick straight out when he pulls her like through. Like it's so clearly just a blow up doll or something, and you're just like, oh my god. And
Yes.
that's supposed to be your like scary twist ending, like, yeah, they didn't get
Right.
out of it, and then you just go, oh fuck, she turned into a blow up doll at
She
the
turned into a
end.
blow up doll. I didn't see that twist coming from anywhere.
You got me. But no, so they have been remaking a lot of these movies. And the thing is that you had, some of these guys are famous, and people might give me shit for saying this, but Wes Craven, made a lot of
Mm.
these,
Mhm.
Nightmare on Elm Streets and stuff, and he's pretty famous for making these movies. But
Mhm.
I think that there's a lot of people out there, like he was kind of an innovator for his time, but there's so many more people these days that can go so much darker and more compelling, and that's what I like. Is like
Mm.
when there's a movie that sticks with me, like
Mhm.
I don't know what it is about my personality, but I like it when it's real fucked up. Like when when
And is
when
that an actual horror movie then? That's what you're talking about, not or like right?
well,
I mean,
yeah, the point I'm making is like the remakes are way more fucked up than the originals, and they're way better because
oh,
it's a lot darker personalities that are taking over them.
right. Like
Like
they,
the
because they grew up on the original, and now they're like, oh yeah, watch me fucking take this thing to the next level.
yeah. Well, I think it's that, and they saw it, and they're just like, I really like what you did there, but how much more scary would it be? It's like somebody
Mm-hmm.
else came up with this initial premise, and they're just like, here's what you could do to make it more scary, and then their critique, they're just like, dude, I'm just gonna do this. Like Rob Zombie remade the Halloween movies,
Oh yeah, I knew about
dude.
that. I forgot about it,
Those
but
are
yep.
so dope. They're so much better than the original ones. Like and just everything about it, just how much more sinister he makes Michael. Like, I mean, Michael was
Mm-hmm.
already a psychopath and he's killing people, but it's like he was just like a almost like a robot in the first ones, where he
Okay.
just like kind of walks forward and never stops, and then he like grabs a knife and he kills you, and you're just kind of like, that's a scary robot. He just never gives up. But in the next, like in
He just
in
never gives up.
in Rob Zombie ones, like I remember one scene where this guy pisses him off, and he just stomps the dude's face in, like not once, like
Jesus.
just stomp, 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 and you're like, oh my god, that's a monster. Like
Right.
it's a completely different creature, and he's so much more creepy. Like it's the big guy, but he's got just like a hoodie and
Mm-hmm.
long, creepy. It's like what Rob Zombie was like early in his career, but like on steroids. Like if he was like 7 foot tall and just a beast of a man, but then like had a
Right.
hood and like the long scraggly hair and stuff. It was
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
and then
that's
the
true. That guy really took things different. Like
hmm
Rob Zombie actually made some pretty fucking creepy movies.
yes, yeah, he's got some good ones. He's got a couple of them that weren't great either, but
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying they were all good. I'm just saying he went from like this fucking crazy rock metal voice that everyone was like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" to making the new Halloween that was like the creepiest thing in '87 to, and I'm making up the year, you know,
right,
to just like, I'm gonna twist this up
yep.
and it's gonna work.
But his original movies too were really fucking good. The Devil's Rejects and House of a
Hmm.
Thousand
Mm-hmm.
Corpses.
Mm-hmm.
Those were super creepy movies that were a lot of takes on real serial killers and stuff. But
Oh, see, that's different. I mean, that's way different.
yeah,
But
well, I mean, it's
and
not there. It wasn't based off of real serial killers. I mean, like it's just they're influenced by what real creepy
real.
assholes have done. It's almost like
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's almost like these people really couldn't imagine, doing this kind of stuff. But then
Yep.
you have somebody like so fucked up that they really did it that they're just like, "Oh, yeah, my character needs to do that."
Right. And then, but so I get that, and there is a lot of that going on actually of the remakes of, well, now now that I'm old enough to make that movie, I'm gonna remake it and I'm gonna return it in, and like the new Power Rangers movie, shit, me and Sarah watch that movie all the time. Uh, but it was never really major. Well, shouldn't say it wasn't a major movie franchise. They probably made millions of dollars 3 or 4 or 5 times, but that reimagining,
Yeah.
that I don't have such a big problem with because it's kind of just like rebooting a franchise. Like I'm playing Final Fantasy right now, the Final Fantasy remake.
Yes.
Holy shit, dude, that's a completely different game.
Is it?
Same story pretty much, but dude, Whole different game, whole different style game in like every single way. Obviously, same characters and all that stuff, but they just changed everything so much that I'm way into it. And I'm not saying I'm not into a lot of this because I still bought half this shit, but like who was asking for the RoboCop remake? Who was asking for Total Recall remake?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So, like why the fuck? That's the shit that I actually do complain about. Is just like you guys just you totally just ran out of shit to
Right.
do and
Just
you had to make
ran out of
that.
ideas. Yeah, I think some of that stuff, where people look at it like it was a good premise and it could have been a good movie, but your special effects were so shitty back
Mm-hmm.
then that we want to
Mm-hmm.
remake it and redo it, and it's sometimes they miss the big picture where you're just like, listen, man, making it look a little bit better isn't that much better. Like
Does
you got to do a better job at making this movie as a whole.
yeah.
Like I thought
Uh-huh.
Total Recall was pretty decent, but
Mm-hmm.
that one still wasn't a fantastic movie. But
Yeah,
um,
like one of those situations where you just kind of go, like, what? Why? Couldn't you have funded something original with that money? Something that didn't just piggyback on the fact that it at one point was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Like
right,
that's what it
I think
feels like.
yeah, I think too sometimes it might be easier to get people to sign on too. Like they got
Oh,
Colin Farrell to do that
right.
Total Recall movie, and he's a pretty big name,
Mm-hmm.
and
For sure.
and they're just like, hey, we're gonna do this futuristic time travel movie, and he might be like, I don't know. Then they're like, hey, let's do the remake to Total Recall, and then he'd be like, oh, is he Australian?
I don't know. I've never been
I
able
don't
to
know.
figure out that guy's
I
accent.
started I started doing an accent, and then I was just like, I guess I don't know what he is. I don't want to come off as racist, but I don't know. Can you be racist to white people? Not this
I
day
don't
and
think
age, I
so. No,
guess.
I don't think so. Yeah.
but but just I just picture him just being like, hey, we're gonna be redoing the Total Recall movie, and he'd just be like, is that the guy with the three or the movie with the three titties? Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm
that's
in.
the that's I'm in.
Oh, I'm in. Three tits, count me in.
That's the best impression I've ever heard. Oh my god,
It's
that
probably
was
English.
awesome. He's probably Scottish or Irish or something like that,
Scottish could
or
be, yeah.
that part of or that part of
Oh,
England,
Farrell. That does sound very Irish or Scottish or
the other part of the United Kingdom. That's what I call it. We're so
cultured. Yep.
cultured. Uh, before we depart, though, depart is that? I don't think departure is means you have to like actually leave the area.
Um,
I don't know. Anyways, thinking about
Ireland.
stuff. Ireland. Oh, you
He's
looked him up?
Ireland. Yeah, he's
It's
Irish.
Irish. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
and
you
you know
got the
what?
girl with the
Speaking
three
of,
titties. Count me in.
um, so did you ever play Resident Evil 2? Because going off that horror
um,
that we were talking about.
the remake.
Yeah, no, like the original back in the day on PS1.
Yes, yes. One of the most frustrating games ever.
The first time I've ever been absolutely terrified of a video game in my entire life. I was
It
terrified. Stop playing. Just almost got to the end. Stop playing.
it was pretty creepy, but it was more. It was creepy too because of how frustrating it was. Like
Oh, it's
like
totally part of the
like
reason why it's so
you
scary, right? Is the
you
scarcity of stuff.
well, not the scarcity of stuff, but that is part of it. But like when you're playing, and because it was one of the first ones where we were freaking out, like, oh my god, there's a goddamn zombie. Like it after playing it for a while, you start getting like in your own head. Like even though the graphics weren't that good back then, like they were the best ones that we'd seen, and you're just it starts
Mm-hmm.
feeling a little bit real, and you're like, this
Mm-hmm.
is like I am Leon. I'm getting creeped out here. I gotta go. Like, oh my god, there's a zombie. Like, just came through the door. Like, I gotta go this way. And you get into the next room, and you're trying to run, and the camera switches sides, and now up is down, left is right, and you go right
Mm-hmm.
back to the other room that you just ran away from. And now that
Yes.
zombie's like right in your face, and you're like, no, god damn it, no.
Ah,
I was
fuck.
not trying to. He's right fucking there. Go.
Yes, those fucking controls. I hated them. That's so like on that note, I'm playing the Resident Evil 2 remake. I fucking love it,
Yeah,
dude. It is
so good.
creepy. It's
See,
so good.
that's where
But
you
like
get that's where you get
the
in with the remakes and stuff where uh Kamal Nanjiani has a bit about it where he's talking about that's
mm,
like the only thing that he thinks are better now than they have been years ago, and he's not talking about remakes, but it's just like now with the graphics and everything, like they're like
mm-hmm.
now you just have a complete, like you can lose yourself in this world because it feels so much more real.
Right.
And that one's a huge part of it, where the second one was not even really third person, it was like fourth person, like you were like god view, like you were almost playing from the security camera in the corner of the room on the old one, and it was kind of clunky, I guess is a good word. Like when you're
Mm-hmm.
playing, like
Yes.
it's not everything's working well together. But now the remake is taking what they did in Resident Evil 4, which is making it third
Yes.
person over the shoulder, which is
Mm-hmm.
4 changed the game. It's like when I
Yes, it
played
did.
4, I'm like, oh my god, this is the greatest Resident Evil ever. It is so good. And the fact that they made it that you can die, like that you're supposed to die, like that this game
Mm-hmm.
is hard and we're
Mm-hmm.
not going to punish you for dying too much. Like you're supposed to die. It
Yeah.
makes it so much more scary when you're like, "Holy fucking shit, did that guy just cut my goddamn head off?" Like, are you kidding me right now? Like I rounded
Right.
the corner and I thought like, "Oh, he's coming at me with the chainsaw. This one's going to take me down to the blinking red," and you're just beheaded, like dead.
Just
You
done.
it just says you died. You go, "Oh,
And that's
fucking
it.
shit, did I die?" God.
Yeah, and that's what they read. That's what the second one that you can. They obviously played off four, and now three came out, and I'm like, why the hell did you do that? Like nobody really played three. That I don't. Okay, whatever. It did have the shitty clunky controls, and now the internet's going to buzz like I can't wait for four remake, and I'm just like, no, just make Resident Evil 8. Can you just fucking
Yeah,
make Resident Evil 8 and
yeah.
stop?
Don't
Because Resident
don't
Evil
remake
2 is
4.
the best version of 4, and 4 is the best version of 4. So just
Yeah,
fucking keep it. Like I know that
yeah.
sounds really weird to say, but 4 already reinvented the game. Just it already
Right,
has decent graphics. It already has decent textures. Maybe do new textures. Re-release it. It's already been re-released in HD.
right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't fucking touch it.
Yes. No, no, that was where they like unlocked the code. They're like, this is it. And that's why they're remaking everything else, because they're like, we figured it out. Let's go back to what we, let's
Those
go
games
back.
that were clunky and shitty.
Yeah, and make them like this one because we already have the storyline. We already have everything figured out. Let's just go back and make those games like this one, and people are gonna love it. And I do. I think they're dope.
Y-
I haven't
Yup.
played through those games yet, but I played even just a trial, and
Mm-hmm.
it brought me right back. Like I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my god, this is like the that same building, and these are kind of the same puzzles, and like you remember the exact same parts of the story, except for you're just like, oh, this looks so amazing.
Oh my god, the lighting just like totally changes the atmosphere, and you're just like, holy shit.
Yes. And you're just playing in your head like what's to come, and you're like, oh my god, the alligators are gonna be so creepy.
Exactly, because you know they're there.
Yeah, you know it's coming. I even remember playing through it and I'm just like, is this the part where the dog breaks through the window? I'm gonna fucking shit my pants. It's gonna look so good. And then you're just like all of a sudden you hear the glass break and you're like, here they come, and you're like, oh no, the crows, I forgot about the crows.
Yep, yep, yep.
Crows first, and you're just like, you're thinking about it and you're like, was it crows first and then dogs, or what's gonna happen? I don't.
What's gonna? And now
Maybe
you
it's
kind of
just,
lose. You get
yeah,
in your own damn
yeah,
head.
right. You're like, maybe it's just crows. Maybe I was wrong. Oh no, here comes the fucking dogs.
Fuck. And the liquor. I don't know if you got to see the liquor at all in any of the gameplay you've seen, or
No, mm-mm.
dude,
I bet it
fuck
looked so good.
that thing. Fuck that thing. The sound. I was playing with fucking headphones on, and I just bailed
Yeah.
out. I was like, boom! I jumped in the next door, and I said, I need to go play another game. I should not have gotten to the liquor before I went to bed because there is no fucking way I'm going to bed immediately right now, just full of adrenaline, like sweating armpits.
Right. I've been creeped out by that game, but because we played it on two, it didn't stick with me as much. Like I didn't go to
Mm-hmm.
bed and I didn't picture it as much because it was still all blocky and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Yeah.
not to get too far off topic because it's not a remake, but Dead Space. Dead
Oh yeah.
Space is one of my favorite video games of all time, and it's so
Yeah, I
creepy.
know. You've told me that
And
before.
it's so damn creepy. The characters in there, and I've had like when you play that one for a while, that game is dark. Like
Oh
that
yeah.
one, that yeah, that game is like Resident Evil is dark, but that's on a level of like where they're like zombies and it doesn't feel quite real. But like
Mm-hmm.
Dead Space feels like it could be real, where they're like there's this
Mm.
relic and people are not supposed to be have it. It's
Mm-hmm.
forbidden, but for some reason, like the relic draws these people in, and they think that they should have it. And then when the relic gets close, like all these people start transforming, and it's the future, and like you're on this ship, and you're trying to figure out what the hell happened here. So I guess it's still pretty far fetched, but it's just it's a way
It
darker storyline than zombies
mm-hmm.
are here. Like
Right, yeah. And it
I don't.
feels weird. I don't know. It feels to me just from hearing what you said because I haven't got around to playing it, but I have it on my list of games I should play because of you recommending it. To me, it sounds like there's almost this anything is possible sort of thing in this horror environment where this relic seems like it's this could happen, but even though it could happen, anything could happen because of it. Is that? I mean, that's kind of the way I took that, and
Yeah, kind
that's
of.
creepy.
It's kind of along the lines of like Doom as well, but Doom is so much action where they're just like everything's fast, everything's action, da 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 da. Like we're just
And metal,
setting,
fucking
yeah,
metal.
everything's coming at you fast, and gotta keep moving, motherfuckers, and it's just
Yeah,
like chaos, and you're like, oh my
right.
fucking god. That's one of those games where you get done and you gotta shut it off, and you just take a deep breath, and you're like, oh shit, that was intense,
You're
but
just a pumped up adrenaline, not the
yeah,
scared like hairs on your back of your neck standing
right,
up kind of
yeah,
adrenaline. It's that like
right.
sweaty, I just kicked the shit out of some stuff
Right.
adrenaline.
That one's a real dark storyline too, but because of the action, you're just like, "Oh, geez, it's just messed up." Like
Yeah.
everything's from hell and it's all creepy and it's all trying to kill you, but you're also like a super badass. You're just like and just like you said, it's just like, "Man, oh, man, da, 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 da," and
Yeah.
just chaos and fast and stuff. But
Yeah, it doesn't have the suspense. Dark Space seems like it has suspense in it too, but like
yeah.
Resident Evil,
Oh,
it's suspense
dude,
and
Dead
fear.
Dead Space has a lot of suspense because
Mm-hmm.
you start learning kind of where they're really good at, like you understand where, like, you get into a big open room and you're like, god damn it, there's gonna be something big creepy here, and you're just like walking around, and you're not seeing much stuff, and you hear noises, like they're real good at making noises in the
Yes,
background.
that's what I was just gonna
Yeah,
ask you. Is
for
their
the
sound
yeah,
work really
yes,
good? Yes.
and you're
See,
just
that's the
like,
shit
ah,
that really
shit,
gets you on
what
the
was
edge.
that? And they'll do the same thing that Resident Evil does. It's real smart, where you'll like walk into a room and you're like, okay, I guess there's nothing here, and then there's like a certain point you get to that triggers the monster, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be like it'll come from behind you, so you're running into the unknown. Like it's not you're backtracking
No,
where you've already been, you're sprinting to where you haven't been.
because it. Oh my god,
Dude,
that sounds horrible.
I think it's the first game where you decide, because there was 3 Dead Spaces. I think it might be the first one, maybe the second one. I don't know, but there you're like in an elevator and you're going down the elevator, and all of a sudden the elevator, like, you don't have a weapon, and all of a sudden the elevator stops and it grabs the doors, and like this monster like rips open the doors, and you're just like, what the fuck, I don't have a goddamn weapon. Like, I thought this was a cutscene. Like, I'm
Oh
playing
god.
already, and you just have
Oh
to
my
run,
god.
and you run out of the elevator into this room, and there are just like monsters everywhere, and you haven't seen any of this stuff in the game yet. You're just like, what the fuck is that thing?
Oh my
What is that?
god, dude.
And you just run, and you can't fight. You just have to run, and you get to a certain point, and then finally, like, you're safe, but you're like, oh my god, what was all that? Where's a gun? I need a weapon. And then
That's
you
like how it gets you into the game?
that's how you start. Yeah. I think
Jesus.
that's the first one. And then the second one is like you're I think you play a little bit, but then you get onto like this gurney thing, and you're strapped down, and this guy comes over to like uh help you out. Like, he's a medic, and there's these things that are kind of like, have you seen the movie Alien or Aliens, where
No,
you
well, you know, I might have seen them when they originally came out, but that shit just doesn't stick
yeah,
with me that well.
okay, so you have like the little face grabber things, they look like stingrays almost,
Yeah, I know that
and
thing.
that thing like basically like grabs onto these people and turns them into what they are, and basically like their arms like basically break at the elbows and bend the wrong way,
Oh.
and then their bones like protrude out, so they just have these giant like spikes coming out of their arms,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
and
this all
they're
sounds familiar.
yeah, and they're just gnarly looking. But when the mutation happens, like, in this, I think it's the second one, you're strapped to this bed and you can't move, and this guy is like trying to wake you up, and like the game makes it look like your vision is kind of blurred, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden this thing like attacks him, and he turns into one of these things in like a cutscene, but it doesn't look
Oh
like
my
it
god.
doesn't feel like a cutscene like how they edit it.
Mm-hmm.
All of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden his face, like in very detailed form, like turns into one of those things, and you see like his mouth line rip open, like how the Joker has his, like
Oh yeah,
how he
like
would have got his
his
card,
cut smile.
and you're just like, ah, and this thing is happening, and you're just strapped to the bed in front of it,
Oh my god.
and you're just like, no, 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 no.
You can't get anywhere. Oh.
Yeah, and I don't remember how it goes from there, but just the whole idea of like, there's nothing you can do, and that
You're
thing just turned
stuck.
into a
Yep.
monster in
Mm-hmm.
front of your face. You're like,
Yep. You're
oh
just
my
stuck.
god.
Oh my god, dude.
Hmm.
All right. I don't want to end on a horror note. I
Yeah.
just want to say this quick, and
Well,
it doesn't
that's
matter. That's pretty
yeah,
much what this just turned into. Is just like, hey, the horror half hour with Josh and Tim.
pretty much. Like, you get me going on horror, like
I
movies,
know.
video games. I like it.
Actually, maybe I should put that down as a note. We should just go completely out on the horror track
Just go.
on one of these.
I could talk for days about horror. Let's
But
do it.
so, just because I don't, I because it's the only old is new again that'll probably ever do this with is those one up arcades, the one that was like the
Yep.
Ninja Turtles came out during the holidays.
Yep.
They did an NBA Jam one, and this is an example of what's old is new again. This is what's old is new again, and it's just the same old shit just being repackaged
Right.
because that
Yep.
shit is a classic. Like we were talking about
Right.
the Resident Evil 4. Don't
Yeah.
just fucking put it in a shinier box.
Yeah. Because literally, you can get NBA Jam for, probably you can go on PlayStation Plus or whatever and go buy it and have it on your system for a couple of
Yeah,
bucks. But they're like,
yeah,
hey, you wanna wrap it in some particle board and have a marquee that looks like what you're used to from back in the day. Oh, and
right,
a joystick.
exactly.
We'll give you a slightly. I mean, it's still
It's still
obviously,
small in comparison to like
yeah,
the original arcade
and
cabinet, but it
obviously it
feels like an
comes
arcade cabinet.
right, and obviously it comes with everything. So you're talking like it's got to have like a processor in there that can run the game, and
Right.
you got
Mhm.
the screen with it, and then they're like, here's a controller, which is your joystick and stuff. But they're just like,
Mhm.
yeah, I know you could have it and play it with your regular controller, but do you want it like you used to have it for $150? And you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, I do.
You're like, "Yeah, I
But
totally want that thing."
that's the thing about Turtles that is so appealing to me.
Mhm.
Turtles in Time is one of the best video games in my opinion ever. Like I have the
Dude, it
fondest memory of that.
has me too. So many,
And it's
so many good memories of that game.
yeah, and it was all because it was in the arcade and there was 4 players. That's something that
Mhm.
you couldn't do on Super Nintendo when it came
Mm.
out. Like I have the
Let's just
game
say
on
if
Super
it had
Nintendo.
four player mode in it, it would. And I don't know, have you played it? Have you booted it up on the Super Nintendo since to see if it even has 4 player as an option?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, so it's just cut out. So yeah, there
I
was no
mean, yeah,
multi-tap. There
I
was
mean
no
it
4 player
yeah,
multi-tap for this.
it
And anyways, if there was, ain't nobody fucking owned that thing anyway.
right. So that's one of those games where it's like press start to enter the game. So maybe if you
Yes.
had one of those like some sort of a hub to make it so you could plug 4 controllers in, it would work, but I don't have one of those to test it out.
Nobody had one if they existed. Apparently, they
Yeah,
existed for the original NES. Nobody has one. Look it up on the internet. Even nobody has one. But I have a game that supposedly supported it.
I thought it had like 4 ports in it.
No, not the original Nintendo.
Not the
No, it was
original.
just
Is it?
two.
Oh
Four
yeah, it's
didn't
just
come
two.
until 64, and that's when 64 and Nintendo and that whole thing
Oh
went
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. But um, yeah, those that 4 player game. I remember so
Yeah.
many good memories of going to like we would go to the mall around like Christmas time, and
Mm-hmm.
my mom like we would take turns or whatever. Like it's my mom and my sister are gonna go shop for me and my dad, and we're gonna play video games, and then
Yep.
like they'll come down and play video games, and then it's my dad and my mom or mine and my dad's turn or whatever. But we'd go down there, and he'd give me some money, and you'd literally just be like, is one of those spots open on Turtles in Time? And you're just like, fuck yeah, I'm getting in on there. Or you'd
Yes.
or you'd be like, nobody's here, I'm playing it. And as soon as you start playing it, there'd be like 3 other kids that are just
Yeah,
like,
that would just
are we
jump in and go, yeah,
are we
hell yeah,
playing?
let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, are we playing Turtles? And people like you're on there and you're just like, oh yeah, Mikey's available. I'm a Mikey. And then the next person, they're like, I'm Raphael or whatever, and everybody jumps
Uh-huh.
over. And the last person's always just like, I guess we'll be Donatello.
He was always the fucking last one picked.
Yeah, the
Damn
bow.
nerd.
Yeah, the bow staff. It's like, and he's purple. Like he's just not
Yeah.
as cool.
He's just not as cool as the rest of them. It's true.
It's you know,
And the
I
thing now about
I like
those
Leo.
one-up arcades too is, dude, that Turtles one that you're talking about,
Yeah.
that's just a fucking cool thing to have. Like it just looks good.
Hmm.
Like even if it's not turned on, you're like, "Oh damn, nice set
Yeah.
piece over there."
Right. And so many colors. I mean, it's just cool. It's so nostalgic. Like
Yeah,
the
for
turtles, it
real.
says it on like the sewer grate, and then it has all the colors because they're giving you this like, it's a time warp thing.
Mhm.
And then April O'Neil's standing on the side with her yellow jumpsuit. You're just like,
Yeah, and it sticks
hell
out
yeah,
against the green like
yeah,
so heavy, just like
yeah,
super huge contrast, bright colors. Like,
right.
dude, it
With her
just looks
giant
good.
'80s hair.
That's right.
Everybody's like, that's what was hot back then.
That's how it was. Oh, and the NBA Jam one, they put Wi-Fi in that thing, dude. It's online. Like it's online or local Wi-Fi. So how crazy is that to think about that like they took this old arcade machine and I'm sure nobody's ever playing online. They probably made like 10,000 of these machines, but that's one cool thing that they did to the NBA Jam one. It doesn't look that cool, right? It's just NBA Jam. It's not like we are talking about with Turtles, but they put a little extra technology in that one. I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a dope game for sure.
Hmm.
That's a I like the 2-on-2 feel with the just
With
the
anything goes. Oh,
well, yeah, the anything goes. You could just like shove people, but then just the whole uh God damn it, what am I trying to say? The the terminology that is like stuck with to even people playing like beer pong and stuff, where like you make your first shot, no big deal. You make your
mm.
second shot,
Mm-hmm.
he's heating up. Drain your third
He's
shot,
on
he's on
fire.
fire.
Yes,
Then you
exactly.
and then you
That's
can't
totally
miss.
from NBA Jam.
Yeah.
Like the people playing beer pong today probably
hmm
don't really realize, like, hey, just so you know, NBA Jam.
Yeah. NBA Jam is where you got that from, buddy.
I would love for somebody to just like comment on this and be like, oh yeah, well NBA Jam got it from this. Some
Yeah.
like I don't know. I don't even think there were voices. No, there weren't voices in before 16-bit.
They're
There weren't even
very
voices in
they very well
well
could have been,
in computer
somebody.
games.
Well, they very well could have been like some announcer that said it first too.
Oh yeah, and then he
Heating up.
probably yeah, of course, that's a whole different game because you got that one guy who was always like, "Baby,"
Yeah, that old guy
that fucking guy.
with the jock jams. I remember that.
Oh God,
So, uh, the '90s are such a weird place.
such a weird place.
There were
All right,
so many
let's.
you like what like real quick. We got to talk
Oh
about
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. Uh
What's
huh.
so
Go.
so odd that they I'd never heard before and I've never heard after was the music that got played on the radio, where they're just like, "Oh, this is a really good song from that movie." You know what we should do is play small clips, audio clips from the movie in with the song, and we're gonna play that on the radio. And you have like Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On," and it'll be like, and then they're just like, "Never let go, Jack," and you're just like, why are the why are this movie scenes in this song? And they had it with like Jerry Maguire too. He's like, "Show me the money," and just like,
Oh
"You
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
had me at hello," and you're just like, why can't
Why
I
the
just
fuck
listen?
is this in the song?
Why
It's
can't I
completely
just
out of context.
why can't I just listen to this fucking song? And then the jock jams too, were like it was like a compilation of just the different songs all kind of mashed up, but then they had like the voices of those announcers, like the one
Yep.
that you and, and it's just like oh, what did he say in that one? He
I don't know. I
I
can't. I know you got it.
Well, I remember the second, like that guy that you said that voice came in and said something, and I just had it, but I can't think of it now. But then after that, you have the guy that's like, and look at him go, and look at him go, he could go all the way, and then it's like, and then they say, hey, and then they start like having like cheerleaders, hey, hey, you get out of the way, and you're just like, why? That's the
When's
only
Disney bringing back jock jams? That's what I'm
yeah.
saying right
It's
now.
the
What's old
only
is new again. We need
yeah,
jock jams back in our life.
right. It's the only time in history where everybody's just like, let's put some real clips of stuff and things that have happened in movies in these songs. Like,
In the middle of these songs, they and half like you would hear if you heard that on the radio, you'd be like, "What the fuck is there? Am I mixing?" Because in the '90s, you still pulled music out of with a piece of metal out of the air, and frequencies would frequently get mixed up, and you'd be like, "How come I'm getting 93 on this 92 channel? What's up with that?" And you'd have to tune the dial a little bit. And
right,
like you'd be like, "Why is the sports game coming in all of a sudden on my music jams?"
right. That's
You're
probably how
like,
they got the idea.
that probably is how they got the fucking idea.
They just had like some uh oh, what was that? Oh, now I can't think of it.
Shit,
Like
I don't know where you're going with it.
the train. I can't.
Oh, I know that
The
song. Yeah,
Yeah.
Go ride a train
Yeah.
and ride it.
The Quad City DJs,
Quad
that's what it was.
City DJs.
The quad, you got
All I
wow.
had to hear was
Yeah.
the quad, and I was like, I got it too.
How come this damn basketball game keeps cutting in with my Quad City DJs jams? And then, then you're just like, hey, you know what? That doesn't sound too bad.
Hey, that's a pretty good idea. Thanks, Grandma. Shit. All
Oh,
right, man. That's a great note to end on. Jock Jams. Disney, when are you bringing back Jock Jams? I'm just saying, you got ESPN in your pocket. You got tons of money for records. Let's just make it happen. You're good at making pop music. Bring it back.
yeah, and on another note, don't do that.
Exactly. I was fucking totally being sarcastic.
I
Shit
know.
on Jock Jams.
I
It
know.
was a moment in time.
Please, please don't do that. I mean, you
Please forget that
can.
ever happened.
It'll probably be like one of those movies that's so bad it's good. But I don't know, music's a little bit different. When it's bad, you're
Yeah.
just like, oh my god,
Ooh. I feel like I'm
this
wasting my
is
time.
real,
This
real
isn't
bad.
funny.
There are some songs out there that are so bad that they're just like, oh, this is funny, but you can only listen to them a couple times.
True. Not a whole compilation.
No, it gets annoying pretty quick. Even the joke songs out there are kind of,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, Pandora, when I'm at work, keeps thinking that I should uh listen to that Out for a Rip song when I'm
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
I put on Prov radio, and they'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, Pandora's got terrible taste. They're like, hey, you like Prov? He's not that well known of a rapper. You'll probably like all these other shitty unknown rappers too. And you're just like, no, can you give me something that's in the same ballpark at least, not just like a
Right.
bunch of underground rap?
Yeah.
And they're
Not just a
just,
bunch of
yeah,
trash music.
you like white guys. And you're just like, not all white guys are
No,
good
this is
rappers. This has been
this is
proven
just a
throughout. Can you stop giving me exclusively white rappers, please?
right. I put on one guy, and yeah, all of a
Right.
sudden, you fucking racist, Pandora.
Yeah. And then they'll play like Little Dicky, and you're like, I like Little Dicky, but this is kind of. I mean,
But the
he's.
fourth time
It's
around with
yeah,
the same funny, like it's yeah, it's just
yeah.
it's funny. I
It's like
mean,
it's real rap, but you're like, I don't know if this was really what I was shooting for either. And then
yeah.
they're like, you didn't thumbs down Little Dicky, so you're probably gonna like Out for a Rip, which is a bunch of Canadians talking about going out for a rip. Just out for a rip, are you, bud? You're just like,
Which is an actual completely supposed to be comedy song where
right,
Lil Dicky actually does the mix of comedy and stuff like that, and
right,
or
where
like he
it's
does a
funny,
mix
but it's
between
like,
comedy rap and
yeah,
funny rap, but is also comedy rap is real rap at the same time, not in a Lonely Island way even.
right. No, like
He's hard to
legitimate,
explain.
yeah, legit rapper. It's just that he's funny with it and has a different take on life just because he's not your traditional rapper, where these other people are just like,
Imitating other rappers
I'm,
that came
yeah,
before them.
I'm gonna make fun of ourselves as we are Canadians, and they're just, like
I
they're.
see
I mean,
that.
they're
I thought you were just talking about the shitty underground rappers that were on the channel. I was
no,
like, those guys are just imitating other rappers trying to pretend to be rappers. They're not
yeah,
doing
yeah.
anything new.
No, there's some of those guys out there too, where they're just like, ugh, I I don't like this stuff at all. I'm
Yeah.
not into any of this.
All right. Well, before we get down that rabbit hole any further, I think we already did 10 minutes of that too. So,
Probably.
all right. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Uh,
Before we go.
yeah, no, I don't think so. I do want to uh point out that with the YouTube videos and stuff that'll be coming out here, that it's going to be more than just fishing. So for anybody listening to this, it's not just about fishing, it's about entertainment. I want I want people to have fun. I want people to laugh. And I want you to learn something. at the same time. But yeah, I want to get that point across that it's not your average fishing show.
For sure. I get you. Don't you want to make it clear? You say it more than once. It's fine with me. You want to make
Yes,
it clear that it's not just education.
this will not be
Hopefully, it'll be
just
entertaining and you
educational.
learn
Yes,
something.
yes. Oh, it'll be
I
entertaining.
second that.
I'm a weird fella. There,
Entertainment comes first. Education comes second.
I got a
That's
lot of
the. I think
yeah,
that
I
might
got a
be.
lot of ideas, and like my brain is just it's a weird world up there, man, and I want to bring you guys into it, and hopefully
Yeah. Fuck yeah,
and
dude. I
hopefully
love that. We just gotta. That's it, dude. Gotta leave it there. That was fucking awesome. For now, we only got a podcast, and guess what? I say only got a podcast because it's the visual component that we will be getting to. But this is how we getting our feet wet. So there's going to be more to come. RealAF.tv. That's where you're going to find us. RealAF.com. Whatever. Just Google us. We're on the social medias: Instagram, Facebook, and what else, Tim?
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yep.
Twitter.
And we'll have links to all that shit on the website. So I know some of the
Mm-hmm.
names change. It's easiest to go to realaf.com and you can go to all the different avenues, whatever you're
Just
into.
find them there. And
You into
YouTube, of course, because that's
you
where we're
into
going to be putting all our videos.
yep, you into tweeting, twatting, twitting, whatever.
Caca! That's
Yeah.
their logo sound, I think. I think so.
They're just like, what's the most popular white bird out there? The crow.
Hell yeah. All right. That has been the Real AF podcast, where we talk to you about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. Tim, it has been a good one.
Yes,
We're
sir.
still over an hour as tradition.
Oh, one of these days we're gonna get our shit together, and I mean maybe we'll just have to be like, it's gonna be an hour and a half or whatever. But
It's an hour. It's an hour. 2
yeah,
hours later, boom.